One.
Hello, I'm Michael with the Marvel 11 o'clock news. Like I said, I'm Michael, and this is my partner Shandy. We're gonna get right to it with Caleb's report on the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Khrushchev, the leader of Russia, has befriended Fidel Castro, the leader of Communist Cuba, who in 1959 overthrew Fulgencio Batista. Khrushchev started building nuclear launch sites in Cuba. President Kennedy has contemplating attacking Cuba by air and sea missiles. Kennedy decided that U.S. blockade would be the best to handle the situation. Kennedy would keep the ships there until Khrushchev will dismantle all missiles and take them back to the USSR. And back to Mikey.
Due to past conflicts involving the North Vietnamese attacked the South, and American General MacArthur requested a massive nuclear bombing of North Korea. However, this was rejected and MacArthur was fired. A bombing of an American destroyer caused the Gulf of Tonkin resolution was passed, so we officially plunged into war with the Vietnamese. The American people were generally against this, and peace protests have popped up around the nation. Just recently, the leader of the Viet Cong, Ho Chi Minh, has led a surprise attack on the Americans on the Vietnamese holiday of Tet. The death toll for the Americans, however, was nothing compared to the Viet Cong's losses. We have decimated the enemy's army. But a quote was released from Ho Chi Minh saying, "We will lose 10 men for every one of yours, but in the end, you will tire of it." And to Carly.
Thank you, Michael. On March 5th, Winston Churchill gave a speech about the Iron Curtain. He explains that democracy and communism are battling for countries. As the Iron Curtain continues on, the United States and the USSR go against each other in the arms race. The race scares most people. Nobody really knows where the Cold War is headed during the arms race. While the arms race continues, the new race starts. It's the race to space. The first satellite sent into space is called the Sputnik. It was sent from the Soviet Union. Even though the Soviet Union had gotten things into space before the United States, we were the first to step on the moon. Along with the space race, the arms race, and the United States had two black eyes. Our first was the U-2 spy plane, was shot down while flying over Russia. Our pilot was captured, and the only way they were to be released was to trade their captured pilot for our captured pilot. We had been embarrassed during the Bay of Pigs, thinking we could take out two major Cuban air forces along with backup from U.S. Army. Instead, our Army did not back up the few thousand soldiers. We had lost dramatically. Back to you, Michael.
Thank you, Carly. And to finish off with Shandy's report on Reconstruction.
Today, America came up with a plan for reconstructing Germany after World War II. Created by George C. Marshall, the plan was called the Marshall Plan. The USSR didn't like that at all. They created a giant blockade in West Berlin to force the Allies to abandon the Marshall Plan, but the Allies answered back. They respond by dropping fuel, food, and supplies to the citizens of Berlin during the Berlin airlift. President Harry Truman says to the world that the U.S. will send aid to any country threatened by communism, called the Truman Doctrine. The idea was to contain Soviet influence as much as possible. We want to limit all the spread of communism we can.
This has been the Marvel 11 o'clock news. We'll see you tomorrow.